It pains me that our body as women are used as a battlefield, and sex is used as a weapon. It can never happen again.
Whenever there are cases of violence, especially politically instigated violence, those that suffer are the innocent, people that have nothing to do with what is being contested. And these are often young women and girls who continue to bear the trauma of the violence so many years on. Coming up, we get to meet a young lady. She was only 16 years old when the 2007 post-election violence erupted. Since then, her life has changed in ways she never imagined.
Hi.
Hi, Suzanne.
I am fine.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
This is where I call home, dear.
Oh,
You're welcome.
I see you have a cat too.
Yes, I've got a cat. Oh, yeah, nakwambia. Bila cat, you cannot survive. I really love animals. I happen to really love animals. I've got something for dogs and cats. I love him so much. He was wounded. He had an accident here and he broke one of his leg, but I'm really taking good care of him. I love animals because they give you the comfort that you deserve. And also they're very loyal. I mean, you can never hurt me when he's looking at you. Like, there is nothing you can do to me because he knows I'm his protector. Oh, you're biting. You're biting. You're biting. My experience has really taught me so much. It has really opened some doors for me. Like, I never thought I'll speak on TV, but I tell this story on TV. Maybe it is not where I want to be, but I'm then again not where I used to be. So to me, it's victory. The stigma is actually the biggest challenge because, for instance, maybe, like, I'm married. My in-laws, they don't like what I'm doing, you know? Like, so many times it is viewed like I'm shaming myself. I'm shaming, like, coming out in public that this is what happened to me. And I think this is why so many women are abused and they decide, you know, to just keep quiet. Maybe I think on 27th, and that time the results were announced that day. And I was headed home, it was around evening, and I was heading home to my stepmom's place from a friend's house from Riverside. So I was to cross the bridge, okay, to go to the other side, Madare. It's called Kariobangi North, not Madare. I was running, then I bumped into these guys. Then they greeted me in a language I didn't understand and was not able to answer back. Then I was surrounded here, and then they talked amongst themselves. And when I was still standing there, like, I was thinking, what are these people talking about? What are they saying? Then I just had something hit me so badly at the back of my head, and I screamed and I passed out. So I passed out. Then when I woke up, I walked up along the river, like they're taking me on the river bank. And then when I was waking up, I didn't have my clothes on. I was in a pool of blood. I was in pain. I didn't have my clothes on. So I, like, lifted my head, but it was too painful. And then I really wanted to see, like, is it a nightmare? Am I dreaming? Oh, I thought it was just a bad nightmare, but it wasn't.
Immediately this happened to you. What steps did you take after that?
I just wanted to head home to see my stepmom. When I got there, everything was in a mess. The houses were looted, like there was nobody there. The whole place was just upside down. I forgot about myself and I just wanted to find my stepmom and my sister. I completely forgot. Like I was thinking like, what has happened to them now? Now, you know, after a month, I got ill. I was taken to hospital. Then I was found I was pregnant. This was a day. I screamed. And then people were like, why are you screaming? You knew what you were doing, you know? Nobody knew what had happened to me. I did not tell any of my family what had happened to me. And they're like, I screamed. And I threw up. I screamed and so there was so much pressure from my family. When what has happened to you, we would want to know the father of the baby. He has to be responsible. I was dealing with so much. Now I developed nightmares. I started having very bad nightmares. And then I just ran away from home. And I ended up here in Mathare. Actually, when the handshake was done between the two principals, I was here in Mathare now. I thought about termination. Yes, I did. And I looked for a job and started saving money. And now I found women here, like, you know, I was really fresh. From my background to everything, there are things that I had never seen. I just saw them here. Like women here, they knew where you can get the medication. There were stuffs that women knew here that I didn't know. So I just started saving money. Then one day I'm going to work and I see people around this sewer. And then I just went to people like, what is happening? Then I saw 2 fetus of 2 babies. Oh. It just broke my heart. And then I thought to myself, if I terminate this pregnancy, that is what is going to happen to that child, to my child. I did not want that child. Then it's like I said to myself, that is what is going to happen to my child. And then I was done with the termination story. So I had to come up with plan B. Plan B was, I leave the baby at the hospital. So on the 30th of August 2008, I gave birth to a bouncing baby girl. I did not want to look at it because I knew I was going to leave this baby at the hospital. I just wanted to run away. You know, I thought that if I get rid of this child, I'll get my freedom. Like, I perceived it like being that prison that I was inside, like it was really holding me back. And I wanted to be free. I really wanted to be free. And I thought that if I get rid of it, if I'm done with it, I'll be free. But maybe it was not like the way I was thinking, you know. So much was lying ahead of me. So I gave birth and I'm like, it's around 4 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, hi, let me wait for light to come, then I'll leave this baby here. So I managed to leave the baby. Then when I was leaving the door, I had a cry of a baby. So I'm like, this baby is really, this cry is very painful. Why is it that the mother cannot breastfeed this child? Why? So I'm like, let me go back, tell the mama to breastfeed the baby, then I'll leave. When I went back, I found the child, the baby girl crying. I don't know what happened to me, but I was overwhelmed by emotion and I just took it and started breastfeeding it. But this was the toughest decision that I'd made because so much was lying ahead of me. So much was lying ahead of me that I didn't know. In 2012, I was going to, my friend had invited me to a concert, a peace concert. And Boniface Mwongeli is a very well-known activist here in Kenya. He had these pictures of the election, of the post-election period on the wall. It was at the bomb blast site in town. And they had these CDs. And when I looked at those pictures, I just passed out. And I cried very bitterly, and I was helped by these two women. I can never forget their names. It was Rhoda and Irene. And they were asking me, what happened to you? And for the first time, that is when I narrated the story. And that day I just feel so much better. And I thought to myself, I cannot continue keeping quiet. That is the day I decided that redemption is going to come. Redemption is going to come because I am going to speak. I am not going to keep quiet any longer, because I had really hurt enough. And my daughter now was hurting even more. She was hurting even more because, like, every time I'll feel disappointment and I'll feel pain, I'll draw my anger towards her. We never had a very good relationship, to an extent that we had to be separated at some time. She had to go for a boarding school. Like, I never saw her for a whole year.
They say the road to healing begins with forgiveness. Maybe I should ask, have you forgiven those people that did what they did to you?
To recover and find myself, it has taken me years. As I'm seated here, I'm still working out myself, because it has never been the same again. It has never been the same again. I want to go, sometimes I just want to go back to the child that I was at that time, to start all over again, but now the damage is already done. That time I was 16, right? Now I'm 30. And I've seen our politics here in Kenya. It's the youths mostly are misused by the politicians, the vulnerable youths. That is where I placed them. Maybe these were youths who were jobless, maybe they were hungry for some food, for some money, and someone just thought he would make use of them. He will just send them out, do something, you know. Because these boys, I always believe they were representing someone. They were not doing it for themselves. So many people ask a question, why do you want reparation? And I'm like, I look them into the eye and I tell them, I want to be reparated because the government failed to protect me on that day. The government had a duty, they had intelligence, and they failed to live up to the promises of protecting this good nation of ours.
Having gone through what you went through, and this being an electioneering period, what are some of your fears, your concerns during the election period and also after the election?
I'm very worried. We have seen people inciting, using very inciting words. Their statements are very, when you look at the statements of our politicians, when you look them in depth, you realize they're very heavy.
Do you feel that enough is being done to ensure that we do not go back to where we were in 2007?
It pains me that our body as women are used as a battlefield. And sex is used as a weapon. It can never happen again. I'm calling upon to my fellow Kenyans that when you listen to this story, look at me and let it not happen again to me. Because as I'm seated here, there is no guarantee to me that it will not happen again. It might happen again if we say yes to violence before, during, and after election.